As a first-time Thanksgiving hoster, I was very nervous, but after looking back on what I did on Wednesday and Thursday, I think I had a pretty good system down, so I wanted to share with you how I planned and prepped and hosted my first Thanksgiving. Today is the day before Thanksgiving, and it is like 8 a.m. and I do have work today. I'm working from home, but I had to get some things prepped for Thanksgiving tomorrow a little bit earlier, which is brining the turkey. I'm gonna get the giblets and neck ready to make a giblet stock, and yeah, so we'll see how that goes. We did do a practice run of our turkey a few weeks ago because we had a free turkey from our local grocery store, and I think it was a good thing we did that because it kind of like helped finalize the whole process for taking the turkey, cleaning it, brining it. That was my first time ever touching a huge turkey, so that was very helpful. This is my holiday planner that I created this year because I found that I had so many like loose papers pertaining to Thanksgiving and even Christmas, so I decided to corral them all in a single binder. The binder is from Staples, in case you're wondering, and this is the Better Binders brand, and I just really like it. They're very sturdy. They're like, I don't know, good quality. So I have a Thanksgiving section here, and I just typed these up on my computer. I kind of have a basic schedule of what I wanted to do the week of Thanksgiving, so the few days before. So during the weekend, I cleaned my apartment. I really deep cleaned the first floor, like cleaning the appliances more deeply, like vacuuming the couch and like hard to reach places, that kind of stuff. And then on Monday I did go grocery shopping, and then Tuesday I just picked up the turkey and like made sure everything was ready for the brine. And now today is Wednesday, and I'm getting started on I kind of separated them into AM and PM just based on what I thought made the most sense. So it's still the morning now, so I'm gonna prepare the pumpkin cheesecake pie soon. Also, you can see the arrow. I need to make the giblet stock now so that it'll be ready for tomorrow. So that's kind of like the week of Thanksgiving schedule. I did do like a more detailed hour by hour Thanksgiving Day schedule, and I kind of am not sure if it's going to go to plan, but the most important things are putting the turkey in the oven, taking the turkey out of the oven. So everything after that is kind of we'll see how things go. And then also, oops, that was my ice machine. Also in here, I put my menu, and this actually helped so much because I kept forgetting that I had things. So my first draft of this, I didn't put down cranberry sauce, and I didn't put down that I had rolls and butter. And if I didn't put these down, I wouldn't have remembered to get the serving dishes for them, and then I'm always doodling things. So I picked out what serving dishes we're going to use for said item. Again, that's my ice machine. Sorry if it's loud. And then after that, I just have all of the recipes that I'm pretty sure I'm going to use. So I'm following an Ina Garden recipe for the turkey, and I did do it a test run, so I have some notes that I took after that. I have her homemade gravy, which is excellent. It's I don't think I can go back to the jar kind anymore. It's so good. This is a slow cooker mashed potatoes, so definitely slow cooking one thing I think will help with oven space as well as timing. So this year I'm going to do mashed potatoes. And then I have a stuffing recipe from Bon Appetit. This is a really basic candied yams recipe. You technically don't even need a recipe, but it just helps me to see it visually. I don't mind my printer, but I have my green bean casserole recipe, and again, it's super basic. It's mostly canned items, but again, I just like having something to look at. And then I have the pumpkin pie cheesecake recipe that I found on Pinterest from the Novice Chef. And then behind that, I even have my guest list, and my sister's not gonna come this year. And I have a random Thanksgiving printable that I thought was helpful. So now we are ready to brine our turkey. I had pre-made the brine the night before, let it cool, and then had it in the fridge overnight just so it would be extra cold. And I'm using a cooler because our turkey would not have fit in our refrigerator with everything else that we were preparing. So a cooler lined with ice bags worked really great for us. And I bought the ice at the grocery store the night before and pre-packaged them into Ziploc bags. I'm going to use a extra large Ziploc bag to double bag my turkey and the brine. I think next time I brine a turkey, I might only buy these Ziploc bags. They worked out really great, they were great size, but since this was my first time, I also bought the Williams-Sonoma brining bag just in case there was a difference. I found no difference except for kind of the sizing, so next time I will probably use 2 Ziploc bags and double bag it. And I'm just double bagging it so that I have no chance of spilling brine everywhere, even if it's in the cooler. Now I'm prepping the turkey. We got our turkey from a local farm, so we did not need to defrost it. It was not frozen, so keep that in mind. If you are getting a frozen turkey from the grocery store, you do need to defrost it. We used a pre-packaged brine from Williams-Sonoma and I really liked it. It was really simple to put together, so I actually made that the night before and chilled it in the refrigerator so it would be ready on Wednesday morning. And you add the brine and then you kind of add more water to it, so it's super simple. I just took a shower. My hair is like air drying, so please ignore. But I wanted to share also the few things that I actually bought for Thanksgiving. This is my first time ever hosting Thanksgiving, and I have helped cook for it before, but my mom usually hosts it, and she usually uses like these large aluminum pans with like little like kind of burners underneath them to keep it warm the whole time. But again, we have a very small crowd this year. I'm gonna host it for the first time and I really wanted to use my like white pretty serving dishes. So I'll show you what I got specifically for Thanksgiving. First, of course, you gotta have all the turkey supplies. So of course I got a new roaster, and I was okay with buying a new like nice roaster because I do plan on making Thanksgiving dinner more often, and you can use it for chicken as well. So that was just something I really wanted. I also got a like fat separator that you use for gravy. I did do a test run on my turkey and gravy, and I feel like this didn't do anything, but I'm gonna try it again and see what happens. But was not that expensive, and also, like I said, I'm obsessed with the gravy recipe that I used, so hopefully more homemade gravies in the future. Also, I bought a turkey baster, of course. I really like, so these are brands that I really like OXO. I'm obsessed with OXO. Tovolo, this is Tovolo. I love Tovolo as well. And this one's just like kind of skinny and like angled, which supposedly is helpful, which I guess it was, like to like get into kind of like the smaller areas. So I got those. Something I got for serving was this basket that I plan on using for rolls. I got this on Amazon and I just plan to use it for more serving purposes in the future. And I plan on, these are also the napkins I got from Amazon. That this is like the extent of my table decoration. Like, I don't love like too busy of a tablescape. I think it's just kind of annoying to clean and like annoying to put out and annoying to store. So I'm gonna put like 2 of these napkins in here to kind of match with the theme, you know. Now it's really dark, but we're in like my little cabinet thing, so like my roaster's there. And I have a lot of serving pieces in here. All of this up here I already had, but one thing I got was the gravy boat in the back, and that's from Crate & Barrel, and it has a saucer too, which I really like. And I also have a little tiny white bowl that I found at Home Goods, and I thought it was just really cute. And my whole MO is to keep everything just white, easy to match, and can go with like every season or holiday. Then these are like my fun splurge thing that I bought this year. So these are from a brand called Nora Fleming, and so the stoneware pieces as well as a little like decorative tree are both from that brand. And you can switch out those little trees, or like I have an ornament on the other one, for different seasons and holidays. And she even has like college teens and like all of that. So I've been wanting these for a long time, so I got one of these for like little appetizers. And I also got one for crackers, and it's so cute. And again, like right now I'm all decorated for Christmas. I didn't want any Thanksgiving specific decor, so I went with Christmas theme. Another thing I bought was this glass pitcher, and I'm going to use this for water. and I got it on Amazon, and this has been in my Amazon cart for so long, and I finally have a reason to buy it. So I got that. I already had these 2 serving like baking dishes from Corningware. This is an 8-inch, this is a 9x13, but I did buy a second 9x13 just so everything would match, and we needed another one. And this smaller one will be for candied yams, this bigger one will be for stuffing, and then the other big one will be for green bean casserole. Another new thing I bought was this 8-cup Pyrex measuring cup with a lid, and I love like Pyrex, Corningware, Corel. I'm obsessed with all those like classic American brands, but I needed an 8-cup one. I thought it would be good, like I used it to pour water into the turkey brine, which was an unexpected good use for it. And also I was thinking about using this for stock since it can be covered, it can be refrigerated, and all of that. And again, for the test run, I used this and it worked out perfectly. If you have time, I highly recommend making a giblet stock from your neck and giblets that come with your turkey. It's really easy and very useful. And this is the stock that I'm going to use to make the gravy, which I did before and it turned out great. And then this is the stock I will also use to moisten the stuffing. I just started cleaning up in here, and I wanted to show you how I have things prepped for now. So I had this like open box thing that we got at BJ's, but you know, you can get them at like Costco to hold your groceries. And that was basically where I was keeping all of Thanksgiving food, like all the cans, some of the packaged bread, all the other ingredients. So I just kind of cleared that out and moved everything so that I can start cleaning up in here as well, because we're in an apartment, we only have one dining space, and we have a very, very small group. It's only our immediate family, so this is where we're gonna eat. This little cabinet area has been cluttered for like the past month, but that's okay because at least we have this space to use. And like this large roasting pan as well as the gravy fat separator and the baster are going to be used on Thanksgiving Day, so that will move. I have some takeout containers here that have like little dividers for our family to take leftovers home. Underneath that I have a cookie like container, and I was gonna make cookies, but I don't think I am now, so I'm gonna put that away. I have some of the food that's for tomorrow's like recipes or just appetizers. So I have corn here, which I'm just gonna heat up. So that's for tomorrow. I have a store-bought cranberry relish from Williams Sonoma, and we had this last year and it was actually rather good. I got some caramel popcorn just as like a sweet appetizer. Marshmallows will go on top of candied yams tomorrow, and then this is a serving piece for bread, and then these are the little napkins that we're going to use that I got on Amazon, and I'm obsessed with tartan this year, so I just thought lean into the Christmas thing, but not too much Christmas. And then over here we have a few tools that I don't know if we'll be needing. It's just extra foil and then an electric knife to carve the turkey. Then over here on our main like counter, there's our turkey sitting in there chilling in the brine. I have some of the like serving and baking containers out so that they're ready to make, because today is the day I'm actually going to basically assemble them and then maybe like pre-bake some of them, so we'll see about that. But this is all the stuff for like green bean casserole. There's the yams for candied yams, and you just need like sugar and cinnamon and like that's it. So that's just alone there. This huge King's Hawaiian bread thing is so big it doesn't fit anywhere, so for now it's here. And then I'm also gonna make a pumpkin cheesecake pie, so these little ingredients are here, and I have to get the cream cheese out, just remembered. And then something that I think is really important to remember is like have water or have a plan for water. So I just bought 2 gallons of water from the grocery store, because we usually use like a filter thing similar to like a Brita, but that would take way too long to refill if we run out. So this is just works for now, and I think it's better than the bottles since just less plastic, right? I also have this glass pitcher that will be used for the water. And for alcoholic drinks, since it's such a small crowd, we're basically just gonna do like make single serve. Is that what you would call it? We're gonna make a drink for each person, whoever wants it, since it's a small crowd. On this counter, I have a lot more of the dry goods. So I have bread for stuffing that is already a little stale. I opened this yesterday or 2 days ago just to let it get a little stale. I have onions in here. I have potatoes here. These are more nuts for like appetizers. These are crackers for cheese and crackers. I got some onion dip, again, another appetizer. Chips also for appetizer. There's limes there for drinks. And that's it over here.
The next item on my to-do list for the morning before Thanksgiving was to make the pumpkin cheesecake pie. And that's because since this is a cheesecake, it needs to cool for basically a day. That really just helps it set. So I made it. It was super simple and easy, and it tasted great.
Okay, so now the pumpkin cheesecake pie is in the oven and it smells like really good. And although it took me like a really long time to make it, it actually is a pretty simple recipe, so I was glad about that. My stock has been simmering this whole time. Yes, it smells so good. I'm like torn between whether I want to drink this or eat that, so not a bad problem. So that will simmer for 1 more hour, and I'm all like cleaned up over here now. And I'm like glad to see like some things disappearing, like all the pumpkin cheesecake pie stuff is all gone now. Little by little, we're getting through it. So after simmering my stock for about 2 hours, I let it cool in the pot, and then I strained it into my 8-cup Pyrex measuring cup, which is like huge. And I put the lid on because it's just like slightly warm. So now I'm gonna actually chill it. And then my pumpkin cheesecake pie is like completely room temperature too, so I'm going to cover it with saran wrap and chill it in the fridge until we're ready to eat it. And this is also one of my other serving pieces, and this is also from Corningware. Another thing I've been setting up just as I'm cooking and cleaning are all of my serving pieces. And I had that like large box that was holding all the food items, but now all the food items are kind of getting used up. So I got to clear off this little like window seat that we have, and I put out the serving dishes so far. I have the bread basket, the appetizer dishes, bowl for cranberry sauce, gravy boat, water pitcher, that large platter, and that large bowl. They're both from Target, and they're actually really great quality. I've had them for years. And the large platter is perfect for turkey. The larger bowl will be for salad. And then we have a little chip and dip platter there that I borrowed from my mom. So I did borrow some items just so that I didn't have to buy everything new. And that's like a less frequently used item. It's now evening, and I took a break from the Thanksgiving prep just to hang out with my husband, and we watched the Taylor Swift like studio sessions thing for her album Folklore on Disney Plus, and I had a ball. It was great. So now I have to finish these items, which is basically assembling the casseroles, getting things ready for mashed potatoes, getting the stuffing ready and like half baking it, and then I have to clean the first floor. Now we have the stuffing in the oven, and it is covered for this first part that we're baking, and then I'm gonna let it cool, and then tomorrow we will uncover it and brown it. And then I prepared the green bean casserole so far, and I'm debating whether to bake it a little bit tonight and then just warm it up tomorrow and then add the crunchy onion topping tomorrow, or just to leave it at this point and then bake it tomorrow. So we'll see about that. And then I'm just gonna assemble the yams because really they just need to like heat through. So, and that will just all be baked tomorrow. And we're rearranging the fridge to fit everything.
At the last minute, I decided to bake the green bean casserole and candied yams. So I baked them, let them cool, and then covered them and put them in the fridge the night before.
Here is our kitchen now. I'm pretty much done cooking everything. I just cleaned up, so there's some things drying. all the drinks I had to take out of the fridge because I needed the room in there for the food. So our fridge is pretty packed right now. I have all the casseroles there, like the stuffing, the green bean casserole, candied yams at the bottom, 2 pies, well, like 1.5 pies are down there. In this pot, I have the potatoes peeled and they're in water, and that's just to have them already prepped before I put them in the slow cooker tomorrow. And I'll just like rinse them out and then stick them in the slow cooker according to my recipe. And then there's a dip in there that I made, and then yeah, pretty much we're all set. As a first time full Thanksgiving dinner preparer, I think the day before, I've heard, is where you do most of the prep, most of the like cooking and things, and then the day of, it's the turkey. Obviously it takes up the most time and most space in the oven. So I'm feeling pretty good, but I am nervous about tomorrow once like my family comes, because they're planning on coming like an hour or so before we eat, and that's probably the most hectic part of the day when you're like warming everything up, making the gravy and all of that. So we'll see how it goes, but I'm very proud of myself, and I'm so happy that my husband helped me peeling and chopping vegetables. So far so good. It is Thanksgiving morning and it's about 9 a.m. now, and I had to make a game day adjustment to my turkey plan, and I was gonna put it in at 10 a.m. but I want it to be done a little bit earlier than I originally planned, so I'm gonna put it in basically like 15 to 30 minutes earlier than I had originally planned. So I have to get it in soon. So I'm gonna take it out of the brine and rinse it, and then I have a recipe from Ina Garden that I'm going to follow, and it just has a bunch of aromatics in the turkey and then butter on the outside. Here is my prep for this. Is going inside of the turkey, this will be outside of the turkey. Actually already a little bit behind schedule because I forgot to preheat the oven, so it's like 9:40 now, but I'll just account for that when we put it in. So it might still go in at 9:45, which is fine. But I just followed the recipe and stuffed it with the aromatics, brushed it with butter, light salt and pepper. Since I already brined the turkey, I feel like it's gonna be like salty enough. It's just a light salt and pepper, and then people can add more if they need it. I tucked the wingtips under, which you just kind of like force them under. And then our turkey is from a local farm, and they had it packaged like this when I picked it up. When usually turkeys will have like a plastic tie on them. So I just used this little hole that they already created to truss the turkey, the legs. So after the oven's done, I'm gonna put it in, and it's just gonna hang out in there, and I'll baste it about every 30 minutes. And I did also add some giblet stock to the bottom just so it has something to baste with. And that's it. The cooler trick worked perfectly, and the turkey was like extremely cold when I took it out, and there's still ice in here, so you know it was cold enough. I think some of the bags may have ripped, but it just looks like clear water in there. So that's a great tip if you do not have room in your refrigerator to store your turkey in its brine. I have my mashed potatoes going now, and so far so good. There's garlic in there, and it's gonna sit in there for 4 hours, and then you mash them. They're from a recipe by Cooking Classy, and I've used some of her recipes before and I really like them. And this is how I hold my recipes when I'm cooking. I just attach them with a magnet to my refrigerator door. So now on my planner here, it's around 10 a.m. now. So I did put the turkey in earlier at around 9:45 because our turkey's like 16.7 pounds, and I'm like, okay, that's close to 17, so should I add 15 more minutes to the cook time? So at least I have that window available. And then I started the potatoes in the slow cooker, And then now for a couple hours, it's just kind of like waiting and like getting the other stuff slowly ready. And then obviously the hour before we eat is like the crazy time. So now I'm finally gonna like have some coffee, eat some breakfast, and just relax for a second. It's about 1:15 now, and so things are really kicking up. I have potatoes still going, turkey still in the oven. I have all the serving pieces out now, and I got some water ready. I am getting ready to prep the salad. We have all of our appetizers, like snacks, ready here, as well as a little bar. And I got myself ready, just changed, put on a little makeup. Here are our cute little appetizers, just super simple. And our drink station with lemons and limes ready to go, and our shaker and whatnot. Over here it's still a little cluttered, but the pots on the stove all have uses to them. So I'm just waiting a little bit longer so that I can make everything when it's fresh. And then these things have nowhere else to go for now, so they're hanging out here.
Dinner was set to start at 3 and our guests arrived around 2, so in that hour we were finishing up all the food. Our mashed potatoes were almost done and about to be mashed. Our turkey was resting for at least 45 minutes. On top of our stove we had our corn and gravy being warmed, and in the oven I was browning the stuffing and reheating the green bean casserole and candied yams, and in a bit I added the toppings to the beans and the yams. And our turkey came out looking amazing, and it tasted amazing too. And I just set it aside here for some pictures. And then my husband carved the turkey like a pro. I was so happy with how everything turned out, like how everything tasted and how everything looked. It was great, and all of our guests had glowing reviews as well. And we were all so full that we couldn't even eat dessert, so we just sent it home with people. So dinner is all done now. Everyone has left, and we've cleaned almost everything up. So now I'm back in my comfy clothes, and I wanted to kind of recap part of the day and like some really big tips that stand out to me from hosting our first Thanksgiving. We really loved all the recipes that I used, and I just kind of picked ones that suited my family and our tastes. So obviously you can pick whatever kinds of recipes that you like, but we really enjoyed ours. One standout for me was the pumpkin cheesecake pie. That was my first time ever making something like that, and it really turned out great. Like just enough pumpkin, just enough cheesecake, so that definitely was a hit for me. Another standout recipe that I found this Thanksgiving was the slow cooker mashed potatoes. It was super easy to do because you just stick them in the slow cooker, and it tasted so good. Like I love the garlic in it, and I think we have a pretty good slow cooker. It's an Instant Pot Aura, and it was actually my first time using that particular slow cooker, which was probably not a good idea. That could have gone poorly, but it ended up working out, and it kept the mashed potatoes like perfectly fluffy, extremely warm, and they stayed warm the entire day, obviously because it was on the keep warm setting, but that turned out really great. A couple things I noticed as we were setting up and cooking and eating in our apartment was that we definitely started to run out of room for serving dishes. We also started to run out of room when we were hand washing a lot of our dishes, and like we need to like splay them out all over our kitchen, which is fine, but definitely like you can feel the tightness. And we did even move a lot of our kitchen stuff into our spare bedroom just so that we would have enough counter space for everything. But because I kind of pre-planned for that, it worked out well that we weren't scrambling at the last minute to like move things around. This year I didn't worry too much about like how everything looked like on the table or anything. I was really happy how our little appetizer and bar station turned out. That was really cute, and my husband like just out of nowhere decided also to create a little menu of drinks, which was funny, and everyone liked that. Because I had planned everything, especially the last hour, like I think if you just take care of the turkey and then you make sure the turkey gets out an hour before you're going to eat or you're planning to eat, timing out that last hour definitely is helpful.
like I had the times for when like the stuffing would go into brown. I had the time for when I would put in the green bean casserole and candied yams, and then the time when I would put the toppings on both of those casseroles. So that really helped out in the last hour, because at the same time I was making gravy with the turkey dripping. So timing that last hour out definitely helps. At that 1 hour mark, that was also when most of my guests came. So it's a hectic time, but they obviously knew like we were finishing up, and it's not like they were impatient or anything. And even if we had a larger crowd, I think everyone would just be helpful and understanding. So I was nervous about that at first, but it turned out perfect. When we had our test turkey run, two things that kind of we needed to do better, me and my husband. The first thing was that the whole turkey ended up not being fully cooked to, like, you know, food safety regulations, but it was, most of the turkey was cooked. But last time I ended up pulling the turkey out a little bit before the allotted amount of time, because I thought like, oh, like the breast is this temperature, like this is when I'm supposed to pull it out, but that meant that the thigh was not the correct temperature. So this time I left it in for the full amount of time. That I think the guideline is 15 minutes for every pound of turkey, so that's the exact equation I followed, and it came out really well. Another difficulty we had last time was carving the turkey, and that was like the best practice we could have gotten, was to do a live turkey, not a live turkey, but a real turkey, carving it from scratch for the first time. That was really good practice. And my husband can do roast chickens perfectly, like really easily, but obviously a turkey is way bigger. So the first time we were struggling because we first didn't let it rest long enough. So definitely we let ours rest today for 45 minutes. The first time the turkey it didn't rest long enough, so the juices kind of spilled out as we cut into it. But also we weren't prepared for the amount of like juice that comes out of the turkey. So we actually this time put a kitchen towel underneath our turkey, and we put that towel on top of a baking tray, and that worked perfectly to corral any juices that came out. The towel soaked it up, and it was way easier to cut. My husband, we had it set up where the carving part of the turkey with the towel on the baking sheet was right next to a clean cutting board. So as my husband was taking the parts off of the turkey, he was putting it on the cutting board, and then we actually sliced it all up later, and that really helped too, just to like do the one task first, get it out of the way, and then we were able to obviously cut up the little turkey's like breast and thigh meat and all of that really easily once it was off the bird. So overall, our first Thanksgiving was definitely a success. It was sad, of course, that we couldn't celebrate with more family, but I'm glad to have spent it with the people that I did, and I'm just really relieved that all this planning I've done for the past month like finally came to fruition, and we can like check it off our list and be proud of what me and my husband both accomplished today.